I've recently put together a new add-on, and you're going to want it. Hey look, another pillager outpost. Maybe I could finally get the last armor trim that I need. Let's just drop into here. Whoa, it's a party. Don't mind me, guys. Just trying to get some... Nope, wait, oh no! Oh, I didn't even have time to look where I died. Where's all my stuff at? You see, we are all guilty of it. We have traveled way too far from our comfort zone to a location that we don't even know where we're at, trying to get some loot, but before we know it, we are dead. And if you're lucky, you might have taken a look at your coordinates, if you even had those enabled, but you'll probably find that you didn't have a chance to look at your coords, let alone memorize them before you were killed, and now you have absolutely no idea where your stuff's at. But you'll be able to see that this pack is extremely useful whenever it comes to finding your items. You see, whenever a player dies, you'll get a message sent directly to yourself that says you died at the location that you died in the dimension that you died. So now we don't have to worry about remembering the coords. They're going to be in chat, and whenever you need to find all of your hard-earned stuff, all you have to do is bring up chat. So the way that this is going to work is it's going to log your location, and then whenever you have a death event, it's going to send a message with your location to you in chat. So as you can see, if we go over here, it's going to be -1 by 80 by 9, which is exactly where we died. Now you might notice that it's going to send not only the overworld, but it's also going to send the nether and also the end. So all the times that you want to challenge the hoglins one-on-one and you lose that fight, you'll be able to have those coordinates inside a chat. That way you can refer to those whenever you need to go and get your stuff. Did I mention that this works in the end too? So whenever you want to go over and give an enderman a hug, even though they resist to hugs, you can do that. And after you realize it was a bad idea, well, you can go and get your stuff from the location that you died at. So by default, you'll notice it says in chat, you died. So this is not going to be sent to any other players. This is just a message that is sent directly to the player that died. That way, if you need to go and get your stuff without having other people run and steal all of your items, you can do that if you would like. The pack is set this way by default, and you can also set this by typing $BC for broadcast. And then typing local right after it. So $BC local, enter, and that's going to change the pack to broadcast to the player that died. So you'll be the only one that gets the message. Like I said, the pack is already set up by default to work this way. However, if you want it to broadcast around the entire world, so every player that is in the game will be able to see the message, you can type BC for broadcast and then type in global. And that's going to set the broadcasting player's death to global. So now that we have our friend online, we're going to see if he wants to go and hug an enderman. Just because you know that it's a bad idea to hug an enderman doesn't mean that you have to tell your friend, right? Hey pal, you should go and hug an enderman. What's that? You'll be right back? Okay. And as you can see, he just hugged the enderman, and unfortunately it didn't go very well for him. But you can see that it broadcasted to us that he has died inside of the end, and the location that he died in the end was 78 by 34 on the Y and -7 on the Z. Pretty cool, huh? Rest in peace, Built2. You'll be missed. And as you can see, if I use my face to break the fall, we are going to have xrsbuilt died at the location that I died at as well. And you'll notice that the player name is now replaced. So the difference between setting it between global and local is whenever it's local, it's going to refer to the player as you because you're the only one that's ever going to broadcast to yourself. Whereas the global one, since it's going to be going out into the actual server, everybody needs to know who died, where they died, and what dimension they were in. So that's what's going to be broadcasted instead, as opposed to the local setting that's just going to tell you the location that you died at and the dimension that you were in. Now the pack is pretty cool and all, and I think that this is something that everybody has wanted for a really long time. However, there is an issue with Bedrock, and that issue is that, well, whenever you die, you don't have the area unloaded. And that can be a big issue. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has lost tons and tons of items, because whenever you died from AFKing, you were not around your computer and the area was still loaded, even though the player was dead and no longer there. So I fixed that as well, but only if you want it to be fixed. Ignore this command block. This is something that I just randomly had there. It has nothing to do with whatever I'm showing you. Well, I mean, kind of. It's just here for testing, so if I hit this button, it's going to kill the closest player to that command block, which is pretty nice to be able to check if it's accurately logging your coords. But yes, where were we? We were talking about an issue that Bedrock has, so yes, I'm sure all of you are very, very well familiar with losing all of your stuff if you left your account AFK. So essentially what I did is I added a command to this pack where we can type in .load, which is going to leave the game at the default state or set it back to the default state. And that's basically going to leave the player the vanilla way whenever you die. So you're just going to stay there and the area is going to be loaded, and you'll probably end up losing your stuff if you don't come back within that 5-minute timer. This is what the pack is set to default, just like your regular vanilla Minecraft. And the other one that we want to look at is unload. So if we type in .unload and hit enter, you'll see that it says that player death area will no longer be loaded when the player dies. So essentially what that does is whenever I die, let me fly across the map here, get a little ways away from spawn. Now keep in mind, spawn is not like Java on Bedrock. So whenever you die at the spawn chunks, it's not going to keep that loaded. So let's fly into a wall, see if we can't die here. And you might have caught that real quick, but we're not in the same location where we died. We actually teleported, and we are actually 200 blocks above 0, 0. Now, because we're teleporting the player after they die and before they respawn, this is never going to teleport the player in game or change where you're going to spawn. We are simply teleporting your dead body, if you will, and that will be able to be teleported to whatever location you want it to be teleported to. Inside of the code, you'll be able to set that to whatever coordinates that you would like, just in case you have 0 by 0 on default loaded inside of your world with a ticking area or something like that. You could set it to practically whatever you would like. You just need to go inside of the code file and find the LLL here. I'll let you guys guess what the LLL stands for inside of the comments below. Anytime that I think of location, I think of it that way. But anyways, we have the first value, which is X, and then Y, and then Z. So 0 being X, 200 being Y, and 0 being Z. You can set whatever coordinates you want in here for the dead bodies to teleport to, and that's going to teleport everybody to that location. Now the purpose of this is to teleport their body there, that way it's unloading the area around you. That way all of your items are not going to despawn as mentioned. Whatever location you set this to, whenever the player dies, if they are there for an extended period of time, then that area is going to be loaded for an extended period of time. Now for most people, 0 by 200 by 0 is probably going to be just fine. However, if you wanted to set this to like 100,000 by 100,000, that would be just fine too. That way you never have to worry about any of the playable area around you getting loaded. Now you're probably wondering how you would access this code, and what you're going to get whenever you download this pack is you're going to have this MC add-on here. So you want to be able to see the dot extension at the end here, and if you're on Windows, the way that you're going to do that is by going to View and making sure that this box is checked here, File Name Extensions. Then you'll be able to see the .mc add-on, the .zip, and all the other file name extensions. Next, you can go in here and you're going to rename it. Whenever you rename it, you're going to remove everything to the right of the dot and type in zip. This is going to change it from an MC add-on file to a zip file. They are the exact same file type, except the MC add-on is pretty much a proprietary zip file. So on that zip file, we can extract this, and we're going to extract it to this same exact location. So we have Death Chords 1 here. Once you extracted that, you're going to double click that, click into this, and then you are going to go into scripts and then chords. And once you go into chords, you'll see that we have this line here. You don't want to change any code above this or any code below this. That's going to make the pack break. You only want to change this code here. Don't remove the quotation marks, and make sure that your spacing is proper. Now, after you have changed the value to whatever you want, you're going to want to go to save and save it. I'm not using this one, so I'm just going to exit out of it. Once you saved it, you're going to want to back out to this folder here. Go back by one more. Find this folder, and you are going to send this to a compressed zip file. And then you can rename this and change it from a zip to an MC add-on. Hit enter. That's going to change the file type. And now you have your edited file where you can double click that, and that's going to import into your Minecraft client. Now, because I'm not using this one, I'm going to delete it, because I was just doing that for demonstration purposes, and I can delete this one as well. I can open the one backup that I've been using, which is this one here, scripts, chords, which are going to bring me to this, and we can change this to 080. We can jump back into the game and find that a zombie has indeed chewed our face off, and I have set up some obsidian here, and this obsidian is exactly where we just set our spawning point whenever we die. Alright, since I reloaded the pack, I want to place the unload back on, and then I'm going to fly away and have a sudden impact with the ground over here. This looks like a lovely spot to paint everything. And as you can see, we teleported right on the location of that block, which is exactly where we set it to inside of the code, which is wonderful. More importantly, we are only teleporting the dead body, so it doesn't matter. Because this happens after the player death and before the player respawn event, we're actually not actively teleporting the player, so there's no way that the player can gain any kind of benefit from this. But more importantly, this means that you are unloading the area whenever you are teleporting away from it, which means you are not going to lose your stuff and have it despawn, even if you are AFKing for 16 days straight and a zombie kills you, like they just killed me. You're going to teleport the dead body to that location inside of the code, and as long as you did not die at that location that you set, then you should never lose your stuff. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I did throw this pack together relatively quickly. I think I got about 5 to 8 hours invested in it, so it's not the most thorough, but if there is any problems that you have with it, let me know and I will address them as soon as possible. With that being said, I have also been working on the Freecam add-on. We have 2 books now instead of 1. However, there is only going to be 1 still, which is going to be this one that the average player is going to be able to get, because this one is going to be a admin book. So if we crouch and click with this one, as long as you have that admin tag, you'll be able to open up this menu and you can set pretty much all of the stuff that you used to be able to set inside of the code, but you can do it in game, which is very, very nice. So we have player stake, command prefix, creeper detection, the radius of the creepers, the type of ease for the Freecam, and the curved number for that ease. And then we also have a tagging system where we can add and remove tags from each player if we want to, and we can also list tags. So if we wanted to hit list, we can hit submit, and that's going to basically print out all of the tags that we have. And then the rest of the stuff down here, these are just placeholders, so they don't really go to anything yet, and I might just end up deleting them. Inside of this menu, you might see that it is pretty much the same as it was before, except for a couple changes here. We have some blue asterisks, and those blue asterisks tie over to the player follow mode. So basically, this will enable the camera to follow the player at the coordinates set here. So we have it set to 0, 1, and -10. So it's 1 block above the player and -10 blocks behind it on the Z. So if we go to player follow mode, turn that on, and then hit submit, it's going to put us into player follow mode. And this is really fun. You can just fly around, basically do whatever you want, and the camera is just going to follow you all over the place. You can also crouch and change this on, well, if I don't fall out of the sky, you could. Yeah, that didn't go according to plan. But as I was saying, you can fly, and then if you don't collapse your wings and fall out of the sky, you can actually change this on the fly. So if I wanted to put this, say, 5 blocks above the player, go down and hit submit, it's going to update, which is really cool. And yeah, be a lot of fun. It's going to add a lot of new cinematic features to the game, and I really look forward to this coming out on the next version of Freecam. Now, to get out of follow mode, you can of course go here and turn it off and hit submit. But you can also, if I turn follow mode back on before I go splat, you can also use the Freecam, either turn to Freecam on, which is probably not a good idea, stating that I'm flying now in Freecam. I guess I can like change myself. Nope, that didn't work well. So it's not recommended to use Freecam while you're flying. It's yeah, it's a very bad idea. What I was trying to show you is, if it was following you, you can just type in !Freecam_X, which is the default way of getting out of Freecam. That will, of course, also take you out of that follow mode. So if we toggle into that, and then we can just type that Freecam_X, and that's going to take you out of it as well. And there is also a new command where you can do FCF for Freecam follow, and that'll automatically put you into the follow mode without having to use the menu, which is really cool. And then to exit out of that, you guessed it, FCX. Part of probably one of the most important updates on the Freecam mod is that it will now work totally independently, no matter how close or far you are, regardless how many players are inside of the world or their locations inside of the world. It's not going to get all tangled up with all of the other players that are around you using Freecam. It's just going to work the way that it's supposed to, just like the Java Edition Freecam, and I'm really excited to bring that to you. With that being said, Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this add-on showcase. You can download this over on my website. All of the links are going to be down inside the description below. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.